Great. So, thanks for coming back. This was, it had a kind of a bleakness and starkness, but like I say, I didn't find it depressing. To me, it's a sound poem. You know, it's like, maybe there's a sadness to it. Maybe that's the word that I will, a sad, hints of despair. Maybe it's because right now I'm fighting off any kind of sense of despair in my personal life with things that have happened. Just rejecting despair and knowing that, you know, despair shouldn't be indulged in. It's just a launching pad, right? Despair is a launching pad. It should be a launching pad, not a jump off into the abyss pad. That's where despair shouldn't leave you. So I found this started like there's like about 10 minutes of a sound poem, a song poem. You know, there is that so poetry the guy was reading, and I found it pretty soul stoking, and sort of you know, stirring up the ashes in myself, and dealing with the ugliness and the outright thievery and government and politics, you know, being taken over by money-seeking individuals who need to be stopped. There is texture there. The whole intro to me, it sounded like a loop that was created on a guitar loop pedal, for example, and then you can play it back at a slower speed. It sounded like it was something slowed down, and it had that kind of sort of gritty, earthy kind of feel to it, and lots of texture, lots of ambience there. It's sort of like an ambient jam. It's sort of like it's a neat combination. I mean, when we're blending all these different styles of music, you have jam music, which is a lot of like, it sounded like to me there a lot of this was spontaneous. I mean, that's the nature of the performing, is spontaneous. It's sort of having a rough outline. You know what the rough outline is going to be, and then you go do it, but you fill everything else in. You know, it's like a coloring book. You fill in the blanks with your artistic creations. So it's an ambient jam combination there. It's very different from a pop song. Of course, this is not meant to be pop. It's very experimental. It's got lots of scritchy, scratchy sounds from the violin, which is funny because the scritchy, scratchy made me think, you know, violins are usually very joyous instruments, although they can be used in classical music more. They're a very sad instrument as well, with a lot of passion. Can be used into sad and happy music, but as a fiddle or a fiddle player, usually it's, you know, happy sort of dancing in the barn kind of folk music. So it's sort of neat to have the violin to be doing experimental things. And this also reminded me of the Swans, which is a new band, which Chris Allen, of course, you introduced me to, and I love that. He taught that one line, "Wallet full of blood," that was really interesting. Putting actions into pictures, and which kind of more quickly and immediately shows you how ugly that can get with money, blood. The train sounds came, and that was sort of signal a different change in the song, a different direction. Train's picking up speed, but funny enough, as the train's picking up speed, the music is slowing down. The music is going down in key. It's having a slide, starting up a higher key and going down, and that kept happening over and over, you know, like a waterfall sound. So, and also the slide guitar, like the bottleneck slide, I just realized listening to that how it's kind of a self-perpetuation, because you have to kind of move it around a little in a circular motion, so that keeps the string kind of humming and buzzing under it. So it's sort of a perpetuation, and it seems, again, very appropriate to a train, the idea of a rolling train, wheels down a track. I thought there was an interesting connection to me. So after 10 minutes of the sound poem and word poem, you finally get some music, and music in the more traditional sense. And it's I want to figure it out. We're going to grab the guitar here in a second and figure that out. And the thing about that pattern, it's kind of what I always call a Hey Jude pattern. Like, you know, Hey Jude, na 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 na. It goes on and on and on. It takes a special chord combination to be able to do that. This works, and it has a kind of a waterfall on itself, kind of going on and on and on, and it's appropriate. And then, of course, after all of that, sounds like the song's over, but then there's 2 minutes of this sort of a little happy jig. It's sort of like, to me, it's sort of like saying, hey, you know what? Lighten up. We gotta lighten up. Sometimes we gotta lighten up. that was a heavy song. Let's just lighten up, folk, boys and girls. Let's lighten up. All right, so the chords were. Oh, my guitar is tuned down half, so let's pretend this is not. But it would be like a C, an A minor, and then an F, and then an A minor, back and forth between those threes. So it's a nice little trio of chords, and it's just a pattern that keeps on going on and on. It's like getting into a canoe and letting the currents of the river just pull you down, and you just don't resist. You don't resist. You don't mind. Let it do it. So I'd like to sign off now and say thanks again, Chris, for the supporting. Anyone else can be Patreon. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about what the hell is that supposed to mean. Thanks for watching. Talk to you all later. It is Dean signing off and spiraling out. And do take care of yourselves, everybody. Okay, bye.